Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here today with Toonami's ratings from this past Saturday. That Saturday being April 20th, 2024. So, without further ado, let's start at the top of the block. At the top of the block, we have Ninja Kamui at a .09. Then we have Zom 100 Bucket List at a .07. Then we had One Piece, the first episode at a .06, Two Piece at .06, and Naruto Shippuden also at a .06. So before I go into the ratings, I have to cover a little bit of a thing that you probably just noticed by the shows I listed. Lycris Recoil no longer on the block, and they decided against doing what they do sometimes in like rerunning it late in the block. They did not do that, partially because of the poor ratings performance of Lycris Recoil on the block. And they decided instead to double up with One Piece, which One Piece did fairly well in its slot. Naruto Shippuden also did fairly well, and that's one thing we're facing pretty soon. I think there's 14 or 15 episodes of Naruto Shippuden left. Period. Naruto Shippuden has been airing on Adult Swim on Toonami since January of 2014, which is more than 10 years ago, which is pretty insane when you come to think of it. And then also go to the top of the block. Ninja Kamui had, I say, a pretty good night. Definitely a rebound. It was doing like a .07 last week. .09's kind of been the long-term median of where its ratings have been. So it really just more or less held serve this week. Total viewership's at 173,000. Not the best number to read into because, again, the demographic matters. Because you want the people between 18 and 49 because A, they have money, and B, they're willing to spend it. And then after that, if I had to say that there was a loser this week, it would be Zom 100, which so far has, I guess, taken up the mantle from Lycris Recoil of being the show that was the most underwhelming. And again, the argument, I guess, can be made that, well, even compared to something like Lycris Recoil, if you've even just been glazing over anime the past few years, you recognize Chisato, you recognize Takina, and you've probably heard the name Lycris Recoil, and you're probably aware of it because it's one of the more highly regarded animes of the last few years. Zom 100 slipped by. I'd never heard of it by the time we got the announcement Toonami had picked it up. Like I said, I'd already watched Lycris Recoil, and I'd heard of Ninja Kamui because it was big and made that was part of that 25-year 25th anniversary way back in 2022. That also at the same time we got the announcement of the two of Fooly Cooly Grunge and Fooly Cooly Shoegaze. So it kind of is a kind of kind of a measuring stick with like how much the two Fooly Cooly sequels were rushed out, which makes it strange that Shoegaze was actually kind of good. Grunge was terrible, but Shoegaze was actually fairly good. And then, of course, the other shows in the block, One Piece and Naruto. If you're aware of anime and its existence, you have absolutely have heard of these shows. You know, yeah, yeah. Like I said, One Piece. Apparently, Oda wants to end it soon, but you know what? I'm not gonna believe it until I see it. Because I'm pretty sure I've heard those rumors a lot of times. And Naruto Shippuden, of course, everyone knows who Naruto is. Like I said, I've probably told about the time in middle school when everyone was ninja running everywhere because of Naruto. You know, just how much of a cultural impact that show had was just absolutely massive. But again, I'm digressing. I'll say a pretty alright week for ratings. Ninja Kamui held serve. Bucket List dropping couple hundreds from Ninja Kamui, not quite ideal. And it had the biggest drop in viewership with nearly 50,000 people drop off net. And yeah, I mean, we've got Zom 100 for probably still like, what, 10 more weeks or so. Ninja Kamui's got a couple more weeks. And again, Naruto Shippuden, you can finally say that's ending soon. Although by soon, it's probably going to be mid to late summer by the time that that's gone. But still, I mean, that's something to keep an eye out for. We're gonna have to soon talk about show replacements for Naruto, which isn't something we haven't been able to really say now, have it? But still, and like I said, we have doubled up One Piece for the foreseeable future. We already got an announcement a few days ago that on May 11th and May 18th, which is respectively the third and fourth Saturday away, will be marathons of Ninja Kamui. because the previous Saturday will be the season finale of Ninja Kamui. I feel confident saying season rather than series. 'Cause I could see them, especially since from how they're acting, it's exceeded their expectations. I could see them at least trying to argue for or push for a second season of it. So if you get an announcement like in a few weeks of Ninja Kamui season 2 is a thing, don't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens at this point because of at least on the Warner Brothers Discovery slash Toonami slash Adult Swim side of things, they seem to be showing confidence in it to the point where we have the subbed version of it at 2:30 in the morning. So they're taking up 2 slots with it, and I fully guarantee that when Ninja Kamui ends and after the 2 marathons showing its episodes, this summer we'll probably see Ninja Kamui as a rerun in that 2:30 slot. I don't think it's gonna completely leave the block until at least probably fall at this point, but again, and that just leaves questions. We already have 1 slot from Lycos Recoil that still needs a long-term replacement. We have a 2nd slot in Ninja Kamui that needs a long-term replacement, and eventually a 3rd slot in Naruto Shippuden. So, with Toonami, at least in my opinion, doing a bit better now recently in terms of show pickups, I'm starting to get a little bit higher expectations for the types of shows they can get. But again, they're all over the place with these show announcements. So it's not like a few years ago where it's like, okay, what anime coming out of Shonen Jump just got recently made? Because that's going to be on Toonami. I remember it was not fun for a while predicting shows, like, back when, oh, Doctor Stone's clearly gonna be on Toonami, ended up being picked up by Toonami. Oh, Fire Force gonna clearly be a Toonami show. We got Fire Force. Food Wars is definitely gonna be a Toonami show. We got it on Toonami. Mob Psycho, we got it. Season 2, we didn't get season 2, but we got Mob Psycho season 1. Or One Punch Man's eventually gonna be on Tommy. We got it on Toonami. So it's just really that whole thing. And yeah, so it really can be anything here. But again, we're a bit of a holding pattern. We have double up One Piece foreseeable future. We have back-to-back weeks of marathons in mid-May. I could see that completely throwing off the momentum of the block. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments and your opinions down below. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.